Alright, so number one, it's just an easy middle school equation there to solve, trying to get the b all by itself. It's got 5 being subtracted, so that's the first thing that we're going to look at. Adding our 5 to both sides, that gets me b over 12 is equal to 2. Now I'm trying to solve for b. It's being divided by 12, so I'll undo that by multiplying by 12. So should just get 24 on that. Remember, when it's equal, that's when they put it in those braces. But you didn't have to know that to get that choice right. That was B as in Boomland. Okay, number 2 is also a middle school equation, but it's a middle school equation on steroids. You got to do several things to get it down to a level in the beginning. It's got 5m plus 6 plus 4 times 3m minus 5 equals 5 times m plus 5. So on the left, I'm going to distribute that 4 there to start with. So I got 5m plus 6 plus 12m minus 20. And then when I was working this a few minutes ago, I went ahead and combined my stuff there. That got me 17m minus 14. So that's what our left side would simplify down to. Then on the right side, I need to distribute that 5 over there. So that'll get me 5m plus 25. So now we're to the point where we can pick what we want to do first. We've got 4 terms, so we could technically start with any of those 4 terms. So what do you look at this and want to do first? Say it again. Subtract 5m is what I would do as well. Anything would work on that though. That gets me 12m minus 14 equals, I forgot an m, I almost forgot the 1, equals 25. Add the 14. So that gets me 12m is 39. I had a brain fart when I was working this a few minutes ago. I got there and I'm thinking, well, 39 over 12 and looking at the choices and kind of a little panic. I mean, 39 over 12 reduces. So divide the 12. They have a 3 in common. 39 divided by 3 is 13. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we get 13/4, which was again a B, as in Boomland. Alright, number 3. Got the inequality in an OR problem on it. Says 4x plus 1 is less than or equal to negative 7. And, or 4x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Alright, 2 steps to solve over here on the left. Subtract your 1. 4x is less than or equal to negative 8. Divide by your 4. I'm divided by positive 4, so I don't have to flip the sign. X is still less than or equal to negative 2. Or only 1 step to solve over here on the right. My x is just being multiplied by 4, so I divide by 4. It's a positive 4, so I don't have to flip my sign. So or x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So when I go to my number line, remember, one of the dilemmas is you got to put the numbers in the right order. Negative 2 is smaller than negative 1, so negative 2 will go on the left. Okay, less than negative 2 goes to the left. Since if you got that equal bar underneath it, it gets a bracket. Remember, if it's just greater than or less than, it's parentheses. It's got the bar underneath it. It's when we get the brackets. Okay? Over here, greater than or equal to negative 1, greater than goes to the right. And again, it's got the bar underneath it, so it gets the bracket. So that's what our number line would look like. And you could get the right answer by just looking at the number lines there. Hey, Blake, before you sit down, come get a study guide.
All right.
Try to catch up. But to write that in interval form, right there, to write that in interval form, this is going to the left forever. So that's negative infinity. Infinity always gets a parentheses because you can't touch it. It goes up to negative 2. It touches that. It's got a bracket there, so I bracket. Or, the symbol that goes with or is it's a union, so that's a big U. So I'm going to union that with, go from negative 1 to the right forever. So that'd be positive infinity. So that was also B. We got BBB, Boomland. All right on that? Now, number 4 is one of the ones I heard people say they didn't understand. It's just working backwards. We got to write it. It's an I just gave it away. It's an absolute value question. It says, given an equation or an inequality that states the distance between x and 2 is equal to 3. If you're finding the distance between 10 and 15, you're subtracting. So I know it's a subtraction problem. So the distance between x and 2, then it says is equal to. So I know it can't be A or C. Those aren't equal. Is equal to 3. Now the only thing I have to do, and I already gave it away in the beginning, distance that I am from 0 on the number line is always absolute value. That's the definition of absolute value. So you just have to drop those absolute value bars on that. Anytime you're finding distance, it's got to be positive, so it's got to be absolute value, which will be D, as in dynamite. Page 2. Got 3x plus 4 is greater than or equal to -2. And remember those and or words are important. And 3x plus 4 is less than or equal to 10. So we got the same thing, 3x plus 4. It's just how it ends up on the right sides. It's trying to isolate the x, so I'll be subtracting 4 from both sides. That'll get me 3x is greater than or equal to -6, which means x is greater than or equal to -2. Over here, when I subtract the 4, it gets me 3x is less than or equal to +6, which means when I divide by 3, x is less than or equal to 2, and that would be an and on that. Okay. Now I think you could probably get that just from there, but I'm going to go ahead and look at my number line and my interval notation. I like the ands. Remember when we did these in class, we talked about ands are most of the time going to be shaded on the inner part, the middle part, most of the time. And look here, that's going to be the case, because if I'm greater than -2, that'd be to the right of -2, greater than or equal to, since it's got that bar underneath it, gets the brackets. If it did not, it would be the parentheses, and they try to trick you with that on the choices, knowing if it needs to be a bracket or parentheses. If it gets a bar underneath it, it gets a bracket. Less than 2 goes to the left, and since it's got the bar underneath it, it would get the bracket. So that's what my number line would look like there. And then to write that in interval notation, I got a bracket, -2 to 2 with a bracket, which would be D, as in dinosaur. Alrighty, number 6. Everybody ready? Hanging in there, doing good? Fantabulous. Number 6. I got another middle school equation on this one. Better get all these right. Y over 2 minus 5 equals 4. First thing I do is get rid of that -5, so I'm adding 5 to both sides. Gets me y over 2 equals 9. Y over 2 is the same as dividing by 2, so I undo that with multiplication of 2, so I would get 18, which is C, as in crazy, which I may or may not be. Number 8. Absolute value. Had to remember some special stuff about absolute value on number 8. Or, excuse me, 7. We're on 7. My bad. Number 7. It's got, I'm putting an X in there because my S's look like 5s. So I got 8x plus 1 equals x minus 8. That is number 7. I just switched the S with an X. Alright. First thing, remember an absolute value, it's the distance you are from 0 on the number line. And you could be a certain distance to the left, bless you, or to the right. So anytime you got absolute value, you always got to write 2 problems, either 2 equations or 2 variables. Or, excuse me, 2 equations or 2 inequalities. You're always going to have 2 problems. You get the first problem just by dropping the absolute value bars and keeping everything exactly like it is. So my first problem would be 8x plus 1 equals x minus 8. Okay, my second problem comes from dropping the bars on the left side. Do not change the left side, 8x plus 1. If this is an inequality sign, you're going to flip it, but an equal sign looks the same when you flip it, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you make everything on the right the opposites. So instead of x, it's going to be negative x. Instead of minus 8, that's going to be plus 8. And now we got our 2 problems ready to solve. So let's get over here and attack the left. How do you want to attack it first? Subtract x, this flips, gets me 7x plus 1 equals negative 8. And she doesn't have a choice, she had to subtract 1. 7x is negative 9, which means x is negative 9/7. And I believe that already got me a 50-50 chance. There's only two of them that had that. Okay, on the one on the right, what do you want to do first on it? Add x. I had a kid, Louise, gets me 9x plus 1 equals 8. Then we have to subtract the 1. 9x equals 7. Divide by 9, and we get 7/9. So I'm looking for a choice that's got negative 9/7 and 7/9. C as in crocodile. Okay, now since we did that one, we ought to be able to get 8 and 9 pretty easy, but we'll look at them, get them. I'll start writing down answers now. That's as far as I got this morning. Alright, on number 8. Got absolute value, got S's again, I'm doing X's. 2x plus 1 equals, this is just about the same problem, x minus 7. Okay, so we drop the bars and get our first problem. Then on the other side, we drop the bars on the left and don't change it. If that's an inequality, flip it, but equal signs are the same. Everything's the opposite, negative x plus 7. Okay, what do you want to do over here on the left? Plan of attack, go. Subtract x, I like it. 2x minus x is x plus 1 is negative 7. Just got one step to finish that out. Anybody? You look. Minus what? 1, thank you. So x is negative 8. Could be A or B. Let's finish it out. What do you want to do over here on the right? Add x. Add x. 3x plus 1 is 7. Two-stepper here. Subtract your 1. 3x is 6. Divide by 3. X is 2. Looks like A is an aardvark. Everybody doing alright? Number 9. Easy schmeezy one on number 9. Sometimes those easy ones trick us though. So absolute value of x equals 6. We're going to do the same things that we just did on number 7 and 8. It's just a lot easier. First problem is drop the bars, write everything like it is. Bam, there's one answer. Second problem, drop the bars, make everything on the right side the opposite. Bam, 2 answers. Which means it would be B, as in Boomland. Alright, number 10. Find the area of a triangle. Got to know that that is 1/2 times the base times the height, with a height of 16 and a base of 13. So 1/2 times 16 times 13. So that'd be 8 times 13, which is I think 104. 104 is correct. We got another B. This test had a lot of B's. Boomland. Alrighty, number 11. I am going to look at that mumbo jumbo on a number line to try to make some sense of it. It's got negative infinity to 6. Intersected, and upside down U means intersected, which means and. Negative 8 to infinity. It wants us to try to simplify that. So I'm just going to get an idea of it on the number line to see what's going on. If I go negative, I got 6 and negative 8. Negative 8 is smaller, so it needs to go to the left. 6 is larger, it needs to go to the right. Alright, this 6 goes towards negative infinity, which means it's going towards the left. Negative infinity goes towards the left, right? So it's going that way. Negative 8 goes towards positive infinity. So let me get a different color. So it'd be going to the right. It'd be going that way, right? Now this sign here means intersection, which means I only tell the answer where it's doing both of them. So it's only in that in-between area there, right? Now how do I write that? Well, the 6 has a parentheses on it there. So in my answer it's going to have a parentheses with it, and 6 is bigger, so it goes on the right. The negative 8 has a parentheses on it there, so in my answer it's going to have a parentheses. So that would be D, as in dandelion. Alrighty, number 12. Translate the verbal phrase into a mathematical expression. Use X. 460 divided by some number. Well, that's one everybody better get right. 460 divided by some number would be A, as in antelope. Page 3. Find the length of a rectangular lot with a perimeter of 96 meters if the length is 8 more than the width. I gotta draw a picture. Alright, this whole thing has a perimeter of, what was it? 96, thank you. 96, and I get perimeters by adding up length plus width, which means there are 2 lengths plus 2 widths. That's the formula for my perimeter. Alright, it says the length is 8 more than the width. So if my width is W, my length is 8 more than that. So I'm going to have 2 lengths, so 2 times my length plus 2 widths is equal to 96. So that gets me 2W plus 16 plus 2W. Those 2 W's give me 4 W's. So you're going faster than me, Speedy. Subtract 16. 4W is 80. W is 20. What did it ask for? The length. So that's my width. The length that said is 8 more than that, didn't it?
Correct.
So I would need 28. Now they were mean to you on that. They put 20 on there as a choice. A lot of people will get the 20 and see it and get excited. Make sure you're like Austin and see what the question asks for. C, as in, I don't know, cabbage. That's all I got. Alright, 14. 14 says, translate into a mathematical expression, 120 greater than a number. 128, excuse me, 128 greater than a number. So that'd be A, as in awesome. I'm running out of representations. Number 15. I like 15. It's a little easy middle school equation, but they kind of wrote it in a different way. We got 52x, I'm using x's, plus 30 equals 12x. Okay, this one's an easy one to solve, but this one goes against what I always try to do. I always try to keep my variables positive, and I'm not going to be able to do that here. What would my first step be? Kids, subtract 52x. So that gets me 30 equals negative 40x. Is that right? Divide by negative 40. See, everything was on the opposite side that I normally put it on. That gets me negative 3/4 is x. Which looks like A, as an alligator. Alright, number 16. Got some funny looking words on this one. It says, in negative infinity to negative 18. And then it wants me to go from negative 18 to infinity. It says if I union those, it's that symbol, right? If I union those, it would be from negative infinity to infinity, true or false. Alright, well, let's just look on this here number line and see. The only thing I'm worried about is negative 18. This one says that negative 18 will go forever to the left. And it has a bracket on it. This one says that negative 18 will go forever to the right. And it has parentheses on it. So it tells me that I've graphed everything. Have I graphed everything? Do I have anything that's not shaded? If I did not have a bracket here, negative 18 would have not been shaded. But it does have that bracket on that going towards the left. So everything is shaded, so that would be true. Which would be A, as in ace. Alrighty, 17. Back to an equation to solve. Y minus 4 minus y plus 3 equals 9y. Deal with this minus sign in front of the parentheses is you need to subtract everything from the parentheses. Some people, when we do this in Algebra 2, want to go ahead and distribute a negative 1, and you can do that just as long as you remember you're subtracting everything. What I see here when I look at my y's, y minus y is nothing. Alright? So now to my numbers, negative 4 minus 3, negative 4 minus 3, because remember you're subtracting that 3, is negative 7. So that looks like B. B is in Boomland. I always think Boomland because it's bad memories. Somewhere between Arkansas and Indianapolis. I don't remember where.
That's a long distance.
Yeah.
I've never had it.
I never had either until every boy on the bus started screaming, "Stop it, Boomland!" And then we did, and there was nothing there. It's like a truck stop. I was mad. Cost me an hour of my life. 18. 30 z minus 30 greater than 5 times 5 z minus 14. Alright, nothing to simplify on the left. We just got 30z minus 30, so I can't do anything with that. So I'm bringing that down. On the right, I need to distribute that 5, so that's a 25z minus 70. Thank you, Bailey. Alrighty, now you can pick, you're going to solve that just like it were an equal sign. So you're going to pick what you want to do first on that. Anybody got a preference? Subtract 25z. You have to add a 30 will work, but I already started with the 25z. And I'm going to have to add the 30 next, so we'll be on the same page here in just a second. 30 minus 25 is 5. Okay, now I got to do what Katie did. I add that 30. So 5z is greater than negative 40. So now I got to divide by 5. Do I flip that sign? Nope, it's a negative 40, but I'm dividing by a positive 5. Valentina is correct. Gets me z is greater than negative 8. What number are we on? 18. So I think you could figure that number line out, but I'll look at it just in case. Greater than goes to the right. It would have a parentheses on it. So that goes from negative 8 to infinity. Have I found an answer yet? B is in Boomland. Last page. B is 19. Or is he telling Blake 18? Gotcha, I got Austin over there to keep that table in line. Supposed to show. Alright, number 19. When 1/4 of a number, of in math is a multiply, so when 1/4 of a number, 1/4 times x, is added to 24, the result is 34. So there's the equation. Can't be C, can't be B, can't be A. Right? So it would have to be D. That little semicolon 40 means that 40 is the answer. So let's go ahead and solve it and see if 40 is the answer. Gets me 1/4 x is equal to 10. It's being multiplied by 1/4, so I would divide by 1/4. And dividing by 1/4 is the same as multiplying by 4. So that is indeed 40. So that was D as in daffodils. Alright, number 20, we got a school board election. We're fixing to have a school board election. In a recent school board election, the two candidates for president received 3,063 votes. The loser received 695 fewer than the winner. So the winner is going to be my X. And the loser received 695 fewer than the winner. Okay? And we have to add those two together to get their total number of votes, which was 3,063. So you got 2x minus 695 equals 3,063. Add your 695. 2x would equal 857, 3,758. Did I get that right, Bailey? I did. Bailey Hagan is my official checker. Divided by 2 gets me, what does that get me? Somebody divide me. 1,800 what? 79. Alright, let's see. It says how many did the winner get? Well, that time that is the winner, so we don't have to do any more work. So that would be C as in cantaloupe.
I didn't do mine like that, but I said
What did you do, Katie Campbell?
I kind of don't remember.
You could just use the choices and see which one had to be 695 and added to that 3,000.
I didn't do that. I
Yeah.
think I did like, I subtracted the 600 from the 3,000
Yeah.
number, and then I divided by 2, and then I added it.
Yeah, you could do that, working with the choices and saw which one had to work out right. Alright, 21 I like. A lot of people will get tricked on 21, but not y'all because y'all are geniuses. Absolute value of x is equal to negative 8.3. What is that? What'd y'all put?
D.
Good. Good. Absolute value always has to be a positive. So it can never be a negative over here. So I knew y'all would be good on that. That is D as in dinner time.
Oh, I love that.
Gloria's got a fish tank on number 20, or at least I hope she does. She's collecting goldfish without a fish tank. She'd have problems. It says, Gloria collected 20 fantail and comet goldfish. There were 16 fewer fantails than comets. So we've got fantails and comets. There were 16 fewer fantails than comets. No, I gotta go the other way on that. Right? Like that. Okay, and then we're going to set that equal, add that, set that equal to her 20, 16, thank you, Louise, 16. Set that equal to the 20 total fish that she had. So she had 18 fantails and 2 comets. What does the question want to know? How many comets? Did y'all get that? See? Is that alright? Y'all are all erasing. Did I do it wrong?
18. There's 16.
There's
fewer
only 20
fantails.
fish.
20 fish. Right.
So there's 18.
So did I do it backwards?
Yeah.
2 fantails.
Let me read it. Make sure y'all are on the right road.
You're right, it's 18.
Oh, Austin's spoken. Let's see, there's 20 total fish, so we could have 18 and 2, so we're okay on that. But it says there are 16 fewer fantails, so the 16 fewer fantails has to be 2.
That means there's 2. 18
Yeah.
plus 2 is 20.
So
18
comets would
divided.
have to be 18. Austin has spoken. Good job, Sir Harklaw. That would be B, as in Boomland. As in boom, Austin is correct. Got you, Austin. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert.
All right, 23. 23 wants the union of B and C. Union means it can be in either one of them. see that U between them? That means it can be in either one of them. Doesn't have to be in both. So if I look at B, it's got Q, S, Y, and Z. So I know I gotta have all those in it. Then C has V, W, X, and I already put the Y and the Z in there. So I'm looking for what has all of that. D?
D.
D is in delightful. What are you confused on?
I don't know.
That
All these and all of it.
union means they can be in either one of them.
Okay.
If it were an upside down one,
It'd have to be with them.
it'd have to be in both of them.
Okay, that's why I was.
And they put that in that answer on the
Yep, they did. They tried to trick us. All right, 24. About there. 24. Janet drove 272 kilometers and the trip took 4 hours. What was the average rate? This is our good old distance equals rate times time problem. 272 is her distance. We don't know her rate. Her time was 4 hours. Trying to solve for rate. All you got is divide by 4. And what was that rate? 68 kilometers an hour. Is that fast or slow? I'm not good with my metric.
That's real slow.
Real slow.
Well, that's about 40 something miles an hour.
Guess it depends on what kind of road she's driving on.
30 maybe.
Alright, true or false on the last one. 7 is a solution of 3x minus 7 equals 14. So you can plug 7 in for the x, or you can just solve it. Either way, I'm just going to solve it real quick, and I already know the answer on that step, because 3x is 21, which means x is 7. So that was a big, fat, true A. Alright, test will be tomorrow. You can use notes if you want to and study guide if you want to.
For real?
For real.
I need help with this. All this, like, she